ago, I met a young man. I'm not going to get into detail into who he was for a variety of reasons. But besides being all in on many parts of American culture, he also got into certain things, recreational pharmaceuticals, you might say. I don't know about the alcohol thing, couldn't tell you for sure. And potentially into things spiritual that, quite frankly, left him, one might argue, sort of shipwrecked on the rocks. He was a great young man, and he had potentially a amazing future ahead of him if he could just sort of, keep to the course. The problem is that he ended up, like I say, shipwrecked, you could argue. And he, these days, the last time I saw him, was in comparatively horribly bad shape to who he was before. Now, you might ask yourself what that has to do with today's subject, which is suspending disbelief, on the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt, and today is Wednesday, the 24th of November of 2021. I think it's the day before Thanksgiving, so Thanksgiving Eve, if you will. Welcome to everyone who's here on Rumble, on the podcast, and on YouTube. Remember, Rumble is my preferred platform. And again, today we're going to talk on the subject of suspending disbelief. So, the thing of it is this. When people use or abuse various substances, they do so in many instances in order to take themselves out of reality. They are literally suspending disbelief. Anything can happen in a drug-induced or sometimes alcohol-induced state. And this factors in the idea of suspending disbelief, believe it or not. I'm going to go ahead, though, and get into my notes so that you'll have some idea exactly what I'm saying, because most of what I'm saying is not even that severe. It's not even that severe. I well recognize that life can be consuming, difficult, and wearisome. I know well that many people end up being under the influence of many chemical agents, including alcohol, as a result. People feel they need to escape. And frankly, I can imagine why that's the case. I think probably most people can, in fact. People who are far less susceptible to the slings and arrows of life still often choose to escape from that life. How do they do that? How do they do it? Through movies, television, streaming platforms, movies. I already said movies, I'm sorry. Music, and I might argue, to some degree, in video games as well. Here's what they fail often to understand. People putting out much of what they see and hear either themselves have agendas or are, quote, guided by people who do, end of quote. Guided by, end of quote, I'm sorry. Many Christians, myself included, believe the way Satan makes lies more palatable is by commingling them with the truth. One other thing that happens, though, is to make Wonderlands that to many of us are anything but wonderful. They're literally dystopian in our minds a lot of times. By the way, they're anything but wonderful. And insert their bad ideas and lies into those, quote, wonderlands. The point here, though it seems complex, is actually kind of simple. If you can get people to suspend disbelief, you can slip ever more heinous ideas into the mix. It would be one thing if the people paying the things in question mind were not seeking to escape. It would even work out okay if they used the products in question for that purpose, then came back to reality and actually analyzed what was being said and done in those visual and audio presentations. The sad reality? Most do not. The result is many people allow ideas to enter into their inventory of concepts that really don't belong there. This happens in literature and things like video games as well, as I said, the video games. But I forgot to mention the literature. And it's become common in pretty much all media. In fact, it's something that has made its way into things like news and social media. If you don't see a problem here, you can be assured we don't agree how things appear to be going. Abandoning your beliefs, even temporarily, is bad. Doing so for the long term is potentially horribly damaging. Have you given up concepts and ideas that are true because people have shoved their ideals at you through various platforms through which you escape reality? If so, it's time to take your mind back. It's time to at least post-process these things you use for entertainment and amusement. Again, this is another click moment, right? I could just end the video here, and I think you get the idea. People are using things like movies, like video games, like books even, like news media, like social media, like music, to push ideas that sensible, sane, reasonable, rational people would not ever allow themselves to partake in, were it not for the fact that they've seen them on a video or heard them in some music or seen them as reasonable in video games. Now look, let's be clear here. I'm not blaming any of those individuals who are putting the nonsense out there. You could argue that I should. I will argue that where I think that we need to propose alternatives, I guess you would say, I don't believe that what we need to do is blame those people for what they're putting out there. Because look, what's going on is they're putting stuff out there and people are saying, oh, that's wonderful, and they're paying attention to it. And worse yet, as I say, not only are they paying attention to it, but what they're not doing is going, actually, this is a really bad idea. Wakanda forever. Sorry, I don't normally name names. But my point is, where is Wakanda? Nowhere. And this is not some Never Land or whatever you want to call it. Where is it? It's nowhere. It was an imagination. The area behind the looking glass, right? Where? It's nowhere. That's not a real thing. And there are arguments of all kinds that are being made. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, right? The argument is that that's acronymized LSD, right? And that's what they were talking about. Is it? I don't know. But the point is that people have Puff the Magic Dragon, for goodness sakes. A lot of people will tell you is talking about, I don't know if it was marijuana or what. I don't know if any of that's true, but it doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? Because if it's out there and people use it to represent things that they want to support and believe that the mainstream has glommed onto those things and considers them reasonable, right? Using witchcraft as a reasonable thing, for example. You want to practice witchcraft, that's your business, but you need to understand that as far as it goes, for the most part, what that comes out of is not good. It's not good. And I won't support it, and directly, I'll let you do so if you feel the need, but I'm not going to do it. Magic, right? Harry Potter, again, another one. And again, if you asked J.K. Rowling, did you intend to make something that people would, count their core tenets, their sets of beliefs, I'm pretty sure that she would answer that no. But the point is, you must decide what you're going to accept and allow into your mind. And as long as people are willing to suspend disbelief, and then as a result of that, allow concepts into their mind that don't belong there, killing people is okay. Harming people is okay. As long as people are willing to do that, you will have problems. So we need, in my opinion, people need to start waking up and dealing with this idea. I'm over time already, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. This is the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I'm your host. I'm Kurt, and today is Wednesday, the 24th of November of 2021. That means tomorrow will be Thursday, the 25th of November of 2021. That's Thanksgiving Day as far as I understand it. I may or may not get a video out for the next 4 days because I'm going to be visiting with family or try to do that thing. So I may or may not get a video out. Welcome to, but thank you for everybody who's here on Rumble, on the podcast, and on YouTube. Thank you for coming along today. Remember, Rumble is my preferred platform. You can give me a boxing glove or a plus on Rumble to show that you enjoy what I'm doing. You can give me a minus if you have problems with it in some way. Again, or on YouTube, you can give me a thumbs up or a like or a thumbs down or a dislike if you want to do that in order to indicate how you feel about my stuff. You can always comment on any platform that I actually place video out there for or on. Subject today has been suspending disbelief, and assuming that I get around to it tomorrow, the subject will be American jurisprudence, and I have some long-standing beliefs about American jurisprudence, and maybe in other places as well, but I have some long-standing beliefs that I will discuss whenever I get around to doing that video. I'd like to say that I'll do it tomorrow. I'm probably going to bring along all of my equipment, but that does not mean that I will be able to do everything that I want to do. All right, hope you're having a good day today. Hope everything is going well for you, and hopefully we will see you again, and it may be on Thursdays, but it may be on Monday's edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. The speaker on this edition of the Daily Summation is Kurt Schubert. This video was recorded on Wednesday, the 24th of November of 2021. The Daily Summation is created for Kurt's Religion and Politics. Thanks for watching this edition of the Daily Summation from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I hope you found it entertaining or instructional, or maybe both. If you want to see more from me, you can go to blogs.kpschubert.com. That's blogs.kpschubert.com. I am on Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com. My handle on each of those is @KPSchubert. That's @KPSHUBERT. I have a Rumble and a YouTube channel. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels on Rumble and YouTube. I have a Facebook page. The Facebook page is Kurt's Religion and Politics as well. I am on Patreon. If you want to support me, that's one of the better places you can do that. And you will find me at Kurt's Religion and Politics on Patreon. I have a podcast. The podcast is podcasts with an S, .kpschubert.com. That's podcasts.kpschubert.com. I think you should be able to find me with relative ease on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify as well. The best way I find to do that is to look for Kurt's Religion and Politics. You can try to use the Daily Summation. I find that it doesn't work as well as a general rule, but you can always try that. I'm glad to have you aboard today, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.